Foryze News. Foryze News.
49ers, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel and Trent Williams placed on reserve COVID-19 list, won't face Packers. The 2020 NFL season has been tough for every team as we continue to attempt to weather the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, but no team has had to deal with the amount of overall injury issues the San Francisco 49ers have. That trouble continued on Wednesday, as the 49ers were forced to shut down their facility after wide receiver Kendrick Bourne tested positive for the coronavirus. The positive test popped up just a day before the 49ers are scheduled to take on the Green Bay Packers. Unfortunately, Bourne will not be the only player who will miss the 49ers' Week 9 matchup, as 3 of his teammates were identified as close contacts. According to CBS Sports NFL insider Jonathan Jones, the 49ers also placed wide receiver Brandon Ayuk, wide receiver Deebo Samuel and left tackle Trent Williams on the reserved COVID-19 list. All 3 starters will miss Thursday night's matchup against Green Bay. According to Mike Garafolo of the NFL Network, Samuel was already going to be ruled out for this Week 9 matchup, but the losses of Ayuk and Williams are certainly huge. Despite this latest development, Garafolo reports that the 49ers and Packers are still scheduled to kick off tomorrow night at 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time. The road to recovery for Odell Beckham begins next week. Cleveland Browns general manager Andrew Berry told reporters Wednesday that Beckham is slated for surgery early next week to repair the torn ACL in his left knee. Beckham suffered the torn ACL in the first quarter of the Browns' Week 7 win over the Bengals. In 7 games, Beckham had 23 receptions for 319 yards and 3 touchdowns. The wideout also had 3 carries for 72 yards and another score. Beckham's recovery will likely be monitored closely by teams other than Cleveland. NFL Network Ian Rapoport reported Sunday that there is a very real possibility Beckham may have played his last game in Cleveland. AC Milan vs Lille preview. AC Milan will welcome Lille to San Siro on Thursday in their next group stage UEFA Europa League encounter. AC Milan come into this game on the back of a 2-1 win over Udinese in Serie A on Sunday. Goals from midfielder Frank Kessie and veteran Swedish striker Zlatan Ibrahimovic sealed the victory for Stefano Pioli's side, keeping them top of Serie A. A penalty from Argentina international Rodrigo de Paul proved to be a mere consolation for Udinese. Lille, on the other hand, drew 1-1 against 10-man Lyon on Sunday in League 1. A goal from forward Jonathan Bamba for Lille in the first half was cancelled out by an own goal from Turkish right-back Zeki Çelik for Lyon, who had centre-back Marcelo sent off in the second half. Ter Stegen comes up big for Barcelona. Barcelona narrowly squeezed past a tough Dynamo Kyiv 2-1 in 2020-21 UEFA Champions League Group G action on Wednesday night at the Camp Nou. Lionel Messi converted an early penalty, while Gerard Piqué tacked on a second with a second-half header before Dynamo pulled one back to make for an interesting finish. While it was another European win for the Catalans, it was far from convincing and will certainly leave Ronald Koeman in a sea of doubts as Barcelona try to kickstart their domestic campaign at the weekend. If not for the heroics of goalkeeper Marc-André Ter Stegen, making his season debut, it could have been ugly for the home side. The next 2 changes for the hosts were Clement Lenglet for Sergio Busquets and Francisco Trincao for Ansu Fati, and Lenglet had barely entered the fray when he was beaten by Benjamin Verbeek and the rebound off of Ter Stegen was turned in by Sagankov to cut the Barcelona lead to 2-1. The final substitution was Carl Zelina for Pedri, and despite some nervy moments, the Barcelona defense managed to see things out to nail down the 3 points.
You always win when you know the future. Foryze.